Hey, what's up? Today I want to show you how I make my A51 Alien Mini monsters.
Alright, hold on, everybody. Hold together. 10 seconds.
As always, I start out with a piece of oil tan leather. I find it to be very versatile. I really enjoy working with it. I have designed my patterns on Illustrator and I cut them out with my Cameo. I just use regular cardstock and cut them out. I found that works really well for me. Eventually I would like to laser cut my leather, but for the time being this really works. So once I mark all the faces with an awl, I proceed to cut it with an X-Acto knife. This step requires a very steady hand, and it's taken me a couple of years of practice to be able to just cut out leather. I check for any imperfections. I also like to sand with a little rotary tool just to smooth out any imperfections on the cut. Punch out all the holes. I like to design in the holes just because it's a lot easier to punch them out that way. I don't have to measure anything. It just works. I like it, and it gives me perfect and straight stitch holes every time. Here I'm using one of my favorite tools. I got this, I guess, from eBay or Amazon like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's like looks like a little fork. It's a little diamond chisel. It works so well, and I only need to make one of those for this particular face. Yeah, I'm going to punch out the eye holes, and this was actually a fail because this punch was, it was not sharp enough, so I had to sharpen it, and I didn't show that on the video. But once I have the face cut out, then it's time to design the body. And like I said, I have my cutouts from my Cameo, and I trace the body around on the wax canvas. And I like to fold it like this because it's a lot easier for me to sew it afterwards. Make sure the face will fit, and then I mark where the eyes are supposed to go. It's very important that I do this individually because each face is slightly different than the other. This particular design has a little stencil mark on it, A51. And the key here is to use a brush that's almost dry. I don't just dip it in the paint. And it works really well. So I do that several times until I have what I want, and that's going to be the front and the back. And here I'm using some leather glue. Or one of the contact cement. It's a little dry. I've had it for a couple of years, but it works so well. And while that's drying, I put some super glue so I can attach the eyes just where I had marked them. And then once the cement has dried, then I apply the face. And the cement is not meant to keep everything in place. It is just meant to hold it until I can stitch it all together. And here I'm threading the 1mm tiger thread. I love this thread. It is braided. It's not twisted like most threads. It's 100% polyester. It doesn't fade. Although this one's white, you wouldn't know if it fades, but it doesn't crack. It doesn't, it doesn't stretch like nylon. It doesn't rot like cotton. And saddle stitching is one of the things that I enjoy doing a lot. first I thought I might want to machine stitch the faces onto the monsters, but you know, I enjoy this step so much that I don't think a machine can make it actually look as perfect. Of course, when I say perfect, I don't mean like flawless. I mean, it still looks handmade, but it's still, I don't know, it has soul, it has more soul in it. And I don't double stitch the faces simply because they're not meant to be put under any stress. They're mostly decorative. And I do machine sew these, and I am very new to using a sewing machine. This is officially my first project that I use a sewing machine with. So, you know, it's definitely been a learning curve, but I think I've got the hang of it. And this is actually very sped up. You don't realize how slow I'm actually going, especially around all the curves here and like for the feet. And yeah, I've messed up quite a few of these before I could get it just right. I also leave some room so I can flip it, and here I'm just cutting out all the excess. And this step always gives me a little anxiety because it just seems so traumatic, you know, when I'm flipping it inside out. It is very traumatic. Like, I feel like I'm hurting it, or you know, like I'm destroying it. Of course I'm not, but it just kind of feels that way. So I try to do this step as quickly as I can. Once the monster is flipped, then it's time to put the stuffing in. And I start with little pieces because the feet are very small, and I want to make sure that everything goes in there properly. So I use that pencil. You know, there are tools that I can use for that, but I just use the pencil that works for me. And then once the stuffing is in, a little bit of a ladder stitch to close up the gap. And we pretty much have a finished monster. And here's the final product. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.